wait. Oh. Wow. Oh my god. Oh. Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Dan, aka Lucen. I am music producer, singer, songwriter, multimedia, music chatter, and today I'm going to be reacting to HOZIER's first album, self-titled. Really excited. Let's go. Okay, so if you've been following the channel, then you'll know I reacted to HOZIER's third album, the brand new one, Unreal on Earth, a few weeks ago. When it came out, I was so moved by the beauty in that album, like so many levels, the poetry, the lyricism, the song structure, the way the album kind of follows this like meta narrative, all these things have just like really just catapulted it up to like one of my favorite things I've heard in a long time. This is like the first time I've really dug into HOZIER past Take Me to Church, which was like the only thing I knew him for. Like most people, most kind of like not music nerd people like us. So many people in the comments, you lot, said you have to react to the first album. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Thank you so much for the response on the Unreal on Earth reaction, by the way. Like all your comments are so lovely. Like it's been such a beautiful love-in for such a beautiful album. So yeah, thank you so much for that. It does really like make my day to kind of like to hear so many lovely comments from you. Yeah. But before we get started, if this is your first video of mine, then welcome to the channel. I love doing reactions that all kind of dig into like the lyrics and the artistry and the production and all that stuff behind the music, because that's what I like. So if you like that kind of video, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to stick around to the end, because at the end of every video, I decide which song on the album I think is the best. What people have been doing recently is like leaving their top 5 of the album. So I invite you to share with me your top 5 from this album in the comments, and then I post my top 5 on like TikTok and stuff. Yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, TikTok and everything, it's at Lucen Reacts, and the links are in the description. If you want to watch the full version of this video, then you can do that over on Patreon, where I make no edits in any of the songs or anything, and you get to see my full kind of analysis of each song. Obviously, because of YouTube's like copyright algorithm, I have to really edit down these videos. Yes, so if you want to see the full version, then you can do that over on Patreon, and that's also like supporting me directly. If you want to just continue watching this YouTube version, that is completely fine. Let's go. And all things end, but straight through God, it's just so good. Anyway, okay, so first song is Take Me to Church. Obviously, I've heard it. I think everyone's heard it. But yeah, I'm really interested to listen to it properly, because I think like my only experience of the song has been like through radio and through it kind of being overplayed really like 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm excited to listen to it properly.
My lover's got humor, giggle at a funeral, knows everybody's true mouthpiece.
She's the last true mouthpiece. I always found these lyrics a bit dense 10 years ago. I mean, I was like 20. I've definitely developed my ear for like lyrics and understanding. This is just beautiful, this section. Hey, man, don't know. That's the bit where I can't continue to sing along because it's too high. Let me give you my life. I'm lying, I can sing that. Wow. It's such a kind of like powerful, heavy song, and was really unlike anything we'd heard. It broke through and took over the kind of public consciousness. Here in the UK, it was like inescapable, you know.
This is hungry word. Take me to church.
It's actually simpler production than I remember it being. It's really focusing on the songcraft of it, you know, and it clearly is a good song if like with that simplicity you can really just punch through this in such a big way, you know. God, just his voice is so magnificent. I wonder if he still plays this song when he does it live. I feel like his fans probably would be still happy even if he didn't do it, you know. What a classic. It really was an instant classic. Yeah, even listening to it again now though, I still don't understand what the lyrics are, but I'm gonna read through it and really analyse it because like, I want to, you know? My lover's got humour, she's the giggle at a funeral. That's like dark, but also like really tells you a lot about his partner immediately. Knows everybody's disapproval, they should have worshipped her sooner. It's almost like he is worshipping his partner in a way that's like, she's the truth. and they should all be worshipping her. The only heaven I'll be sent to is when I'm alone with you. That's gorgeous. So it is about like actually really coming to terms with religion, right? You know, it's like I'd actually rather worship my love for this partner than I would any god, you know. Take me to church, I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death, and good God, let me give you my life. Something meaty for the main course. That's a fine looking high horse. Like you're eating the high horse. It feels like he's really kind of like lost faith in the church, and there's a lot of cynicism. No masters or kings when the ritual begins. There is no sweeter innocence than our gentle sin. In the madness and soil of that sad earthly scene, only then I am human, only then I am clean. There's a sense of kind of bringing faith back down to earth. And our gentle sin that's so beautiful. There's something very pure about not worrying about being sinful and just like relishing in being human, you know. It's very relatable in a lot of ways, because it's like in his own very poetic way kind of saying, you know, I don't believe in all these things telling me that this is wrong. Why should I believe that having sex and being in love and like worshipping another person is wrong? Like I should be able to exist as a human without feeling this sin. I should be able to just be happy. Yeah, and so I can kind of relate to it in a way. Even though like I was raised like with no religion, I still felt the kind of like blowback of it growing up gay. I never had any problem with being gay myself, within myself. The only reason I struggled is because other people's opinions, being gay was wrong, being gay was sinful, and it all kind of came from the kind of church. Even if people aren't necessarily religious, our culture has been influenced by the church and the way that it is said being gay is sinful. Why shouldn't I be able to just exist and love in the way that just feels 100% natural, without people questioning it and people bullying me for it and me having to come out to everybody and announce to everybody that this is a thing? It's like, it's not a thing. Like for me, it's not a thing. And I think like that's really kind of like what HOZIER is saying in kind of his way, you know, dissecting the church, and we're dissecting faith and religion. Yeah, I'm really glad I got into the poetry of that, because that's like, it's obviously like quite a dense song because a lot of the metaphors are quite strong, but like when you actually really kind of pick them apart, it does seem to be all about like the idea of worship and like where we put that and why some things are bad and some things aren't, you know. Next song, this is Angel of Small Death and the Codeine Scene. Okay, drugs, like codeine is a painkiller. You can be addicted to codeine. Okay.
I watch the work of my kin, bold and boyful, calling to join them. The terrible.
You can tell it's like an early album from him because the mix is quite kind of rough and ready. I like this kind of like tempo change. That's cool.
When no shortage of sordid, no with her sweet and
Nice. Okay.
angel of small death and the love being seen.
So we're getting a bit gospel-y, huh?
Love being seen. Feeling drips from the fields, all feeder and fertile.
Nice. I love that the second chorus he's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going up the octave. Nice. It's kind of got like such a kind of like old soul bluesy kind of feel, isn't it? Like it really feels like you're live in the room with a band, maybe in a small church setting, you know.
Wonder if
There's an organ as well, like.
jarring of judgment and reasons to feed the I'm alive with love sweet and
I still have no idea what that means. I do really like the energy of this. It just has like such a live kind of feeling to it, you know. Angel of Small Death and the Codeine Scene. Not sure what that means. What is that? Interesting song. Not like my fave, must say, but I do like the way that song puts you in a place. Like it really did feel like your local church and they're kind of playing to the congregation. It really puts you in that place for me. I think and that's why it kind of has a gospel feel to it, because that very much is like the style of gospel, isn't it? You know, interesting to see how he's pulling from his kind of religious background, but obviously he's having trouble with it, but still musically it's very much influencing like what he's doing, you know. I watch the work of my kin, bold and boyful, toying somewhere between love and abuse, shaking the wings of their terrible youths. broken relationships, potentially broken families, lurched like a stray to the arms that were open. No shortage of sordid, no protest from me. The lyrics here are definitely like denser. I feel like in Unreal on Earth, it was a little bit more easy to understand. Obviously, there was like meta context that I didn't pick up on, like the Dante's Inferno stuff, but like the immediate meaning of each song I think was a little bit more obvious. Maybe it's about leaving the church and kind of like what he's experienced maybe outside of that context. With her sweetened breath and her tongue so mean, she's the angel of small death. And the codeine scene, for me it's like almost like he's left the church and gone into like the slums basically, and like really mixing with like everybody. You know, he's going to the clubs, he's mixing with all the people that maybe he didn't mix with when he was a good God-fearing church boy, and he's met this woman who's got a sharp tongue and he's like kind of like maybe so used to everybody being like very nice and very like agreeable, and suddenly he's meeting this person who's like this angel, this figure that represents this newfound discovery of like a world that's actually harsher and more jagged and like kind of meaner and dirtier and messier. And he's kind of, it's almost like his first discovery of this scene. Like the codeine scene, it's almost like these people who are all addicted to this drug maybe that is like meant for painkillers, but they're all getting high on it, you know. It's giving me all those kind of vibes, you know. Feeling more human and hooked on her flesh, I lay my heart down with the rest at her feet. It's bloody and raw, but I swear it is sweet. So it's like he's feeling a sense of freedom, and he's really putting his entire body and heart into this person, even though he knows that she is like jagged and harsh, you know. The sweet heat of her breath in her mouth, I'm alive. It's like he's been freed of kind of like conservative living and is now experiencing what it is to kind of have a hookup with this like devilish kind of character, and like he feels more alive than he ever did, even though it's in contrary to maybe what he's been taught before. Yeah, cool. Freedom. That's what it feels like. Dirty freedom. But I appreciate that song more after looking at the lyrics actually. Next song, this is Jackie and Wilson. Nice. A bit more rocky. I love the kind of like rough and ready energy in this. I would rather be tonight. Crisis all said and done. Yeah, nice. It's like a rediscovery of youth, isn't it? Gorgeous vocal harmonies, oh my god. Nice. Oh, I like this one. Yeah, like really leading into the rediscovery, like him killing an old version of himself. Nice. I love this chorus, it's so lush. We'll name our children Jackie and Wilson, raise them on rhythm and blues. He's like really like looking at how he wants to do his life differently, you know. We're gonna raise them on music, not on religion. Nice. She's already left. Our little vignette. Just a little vignette. So by the sounds of it, this relationship he's had is quite short-lived, but in that moment he was like envisioning them having kids together, you know. These big harmonies are just sending me, I love it. I wonder what the significance of Jackie and Wilson, the names are. You have to let me know what that is. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, the vibes of that. Still pulling on the gospel references, but like tying it into like much more of a rock kind of vibe. Yeah, I love it. Really nice. Yeah, I love that one. Still so far, like the mix of it does, like the whole album has so far sounded pretty rough and ready. It's given me a similar vibe to Adele's first album, 19. in the same way that it's like really has that kind of raw feeling to it. So tired trying to see from behind the red in my eyes. No better version of me I could pretend to be tonight. Laughing away through my feeble disguise. No other version of me I would rather be tonight. And Lord, she found me just in time because of my mid-youth crisis. All said and done, I need to be youthfully felt because God, I never felt young. So it's like maybe like early 20s, I guess, at this point, and kind of like finding this kind of newfound independence and feeling like he doesn't know who he is, and he's never felt like he's been youthful, and so he's rediscovering his youth in his 20s in a way that like feels much more free to him, especially through the context of being with this person, you know. She's gonna save me, call me baby, run her hands through my hair. She'll know me crazy, soothe me daily, better yet she wouldn't care. We'll name our children Jackie and Wilson, raise them on rhythm and blues. He's really envisioning their life together and thinking about the ways in which he will kind of do it differently. But by the sounds of it, it's not like gonna last that long, really. It seems as if this person has had such a profound effect on him. Each song so far seems to be like he's worshipping this person, and like it's really changed everything for him, broke him out of who he used to be, and he's now reinventing himself. Every version of me dead and buried in the yard outside, yeah. We'd sit back and watch the world go by, happy to lie back and watch it burn and rust. We tried the world, good God, it wasn't for us. So it's like we're gonna live in our own little bubble, free of maybe religion and what's going on in the world. She's gonna save me, Let my mind reset, looking up from a cigarette, and she's already left. I start digging up the yard for what's left of me and our little vignette, for whatever poor soul is coming next. In that moment, it seems as if she's already dropped him and left, and he's like, oh my God, like what have I done? Like I need to find who I am again. He's digging up his old body from the garden and trying to figure out who he is, but it seems as if he's kind of irreversibly changed by this person, you know. I like that one a lot. Okay, next song. This is Someone New. Oh, slightly orchestral sounding.
Don't take this the wrong way. You knew who I was.
Nice.
I ran to you.
Yeah.
A black day.
Only blew up that days.
Honey, there is no right way. Oh, I fall in love.
Yes. Hey, wait, I think I've heard this. Was this another single? I remember that chorus.
Like to imagine dark caress.
God, the mix is so muddy, isn't it? Like,
I was the right way, honey, there is no right way.
I love the kind of like optimism of this. It's like every single day he's like falling in love with someone new. It's like he's found a whole new world that he didn't know existed, and every day there's someone new for him to fall in love with. You know, it's beautiful, you know, very youthful.
How pure, how sweet. God knows I've fallen just a little.
Recontextualizing, reharmonizing the chorus for an interesting bridge. Very cool. Ugh. God, these fucking harmonies are gonna send me to my heaven crypt. I don't know what I'm saying.
With every stranger,
A little bit every day with someone new. See, I've definitely heard this. This must have been the follow-up.
every day with someone new.
Nice. Love that. Love the beauty in that. Love the optimism in it. Obviously love all the gospel harmonies and stuff in every single song. But that one's really nice too. I like it. Just such a lovely vibe, especially after like the other songs on the album so far have kind of had a bit of an edge to them. That one is a lot more relaxed, you know. Don't take this the wrong way. You knew who I was with every step that I ran to you. Only blue or black days, electing strange perfections in any stranger I choose. Would things be easier if there was a right way? Honey, there is no right way. And so I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. Interesting. You knew who I was with every step I ran to you. It's like this person that he was with before, I think, was maybe too mature for him, you know, like she was in a different place. She was much more confident, like, whereas he was this like new to the world, like boy who was like experiencing sex and experiencing freedom in a way for the first time. And now he's kind of moved on and is like just relishing in the fact that he can just meet new people every day and fall in love with new people every day and is not tied down to one person. I'm getting so much kind of youthful freedom in this. It's like someone going into their 20s and being like, I'm just gonna fuck around and I'm gonna love it. You know, some like to imagine the dark caress of someone else. Love with every stranger, the stranger the better. So it's like really kind of like the kind of optimism and hope in being like, I'm going to fall in love with loads of people and get all my experiences in and make the most of it, because it's almost like this kind of feeling that he'll be a more well-rounded person if he kind of like really puts himself out there and just falls in love with everybody. Yeah, I love it. Cool. Next song, this is To Be Alone. Nice. Interesting time signature. It's like a few like half bars. Ooh.
Skin that crawls from you.
This is darker.
Along with you.
Yeah.
It feels
To me, it feels like he's wrestling with the idea that it feels good to be with this person, even though maybe it shouldn't. Like that kissing the skin that crawls from you. Is that what the lyric was? Love that. Oh, I love how he was like, you should run away, and the guitar turned into like a galloping. Very clever. This is a very strange song. It feels like the verses are almost like in double time, and then the chorus is almost like going to half time. It feels so good to be alone with you. It kind of feels like he's really picking apart like sex for me, and like the way in which sex kind of exists and eroticism kind of exists in a way that is sometimes very opposite to our daily lives, you know.
Girl, it feels good along with you.
Yeah. Interesting song in terms of like the structure and all of that kind of stuff. Very interesting vibe. Has like a kind of dark twist on the energy of the album so far. Yeah, not sure if it all comes together for me. I do love the kind of experimental feeling with the guitar. It's very kind of playful in the way that the guitars play, definitely. Never feel too good in crowds with folks around when they're playing the anthems of rape culture loud, crude and proud creatures baying. Shit. Yeah. Wow, okay. Maybe like he's seeing the kind of like toxic male culture surrounding him and feeling very uncomfortable. All I've ever done is hide from our times when you're near me. Honey, when you kill the lights and kiss my eyes, it feels like a person for a moment in my life. But you don't know what hell you put me through. To have someone kiss the skin that crawls from you. To feel your weight in arms I'd never use. It's the God that heroin prays to. Okay, let's pick this apart. So for me, it's like has like experienced masculinity in such a negative way that like he hides from other people, from crowds, from groups of people. And I think he's internalized a lot of that, and he kind of has a lot of self-hatred in that sense. And so when he's in the bedroom with this woman, he finally feels like a real person, but he also feels like he's being put through hell in the way that she is loving him. You know, it's like you're kissing the skin that crawls from me, like this sense that he hates himself, like his skin is crawling at the thought of himself, considering himself, and yet she is kissing that skin. You know, it's like this fear of being intimate and fear of being loved, and like the kind of almost like the adrenaline of that going through that fire, you know. But I'm not sure what it's the God that heroin prays to, referring to drugs, but I don't know. It feels good, girl, feels good to be alone with you. There are questions I can't ask now at last. The worst is over. See the way you hold yourself, real against your body's borders. I don't know what else that I would do. Then try to kiss the skin that crawls from you. Then feel your weight in arms I'd never use. So he turns it around, the perspective change. Maybe it's kind of saying that like he recognizes that maybe they're more similar than they thought, and he's like, I will kiss that skin for you. I'll put you through that and make you go through that hell of kind of having to kind of love yourself. So yeah, it feels like a kind of like more of this feeling of like him discovering himself and becoming almost this like new person in the bedroom and in his relationship with this woman, the sexual relationship with this woman, and how it's like almost freed him, but it's been painful. Very interesting and very intricate. But yeah, and I think like in terms of like, if you think about sex, like eroticism is like, it's, you don't talk about it in terms of Christianity or whatever. And like often like things that we can see as sexual are very like opposite to who we are in the real world. And so this kind of like world that he's taking himself into, like being alone with this woman, it's almost like exploring a side of himself that is very, very unfamiliar. It's kind of very animalistic as well. So it's very interesting to see him kind of piecing through those feelings, you know. Let's go on to the next one. Next song. This is From Eden. Let's go. Ooh, gorgeous guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, how nice it is to hear a song in 5/4.
Something so magic about you.
Gorgeous.
Outside, no rolling eyes, no.
I absolutely love how he's playing with the time signature in this. This is gorgeous, yeah.
I should know. I sit outside your door.
Gorgeous. And I love the intimacy in this guitar moment as well. When the rest of the production's quite big, you know.
There's something broken about this.
It's not easy to write a song in 5/4 and for it to feel just so easy and seamless. He's not afraid of silence, is he? Gorgeous. I love how it picks it up. You know. Nice. I love that lyric. Ooh. Now we're going to Spain. Yeah, it's got a bit of like a flamenco style. Interesting place to draw. It's almost like the time signature has inspired that moment of the song, you know. Nice. Nice. That was a really nice vibe. You do not hear 5/4 songs very often because it's not easy to make something in 5/4, but like he's done it and it's like just feels so easy and free. I think the best way to write a song in 5/4 is to accent those parts of the rhythm, the da 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 da. I think like if you write something in 5/4, then it's almost like the rhythm has to be tied down quite strongly. If it was in 4/4, you can kind of mess around because people's internal rhythm of 4/4 is so entrenched. So with 5/4, you kind of almost have to give them that rhythm. I think that's how he made it work, you know? But then he does mess with it in that bit before the chorus, how it kind of like takes everything away. So that was really cool, really exciting to hear. And a really nice kind of smooth vibe. Babe, there's something tragic about you, something so magic about you. Don't you agree? There's something lonesome about you, something so wholesome about you. Get closer to me. So it's very romantic and very really assessing the two sides of someone. How can someone be dark and light at the same time, you know? No tired sigh, no rolling eyes, no irony, no who cares, no vacant stare, no time for me. Honey, you're familiar. Like my mirror years ago, idealism sits in prison, chivalry fell on his sword, innocence died screaming. Honey, ask me, should I know? I just slithered here from Eden just to sit outside your door. So he's taking the role of the snake in the Garden of Eden, the temptation, right? That's that character. But there's something wretched about this, something so precious about this. Where to begin? Oh, what a sin. He's really dissecting sin again. And like the snake in the Garden of Eden is like that temptation, the sin, like the original sin. And I think like this whole album is him picking apart like his relationship with sin and about how he's kind of actually finding that within one person, both things exist, you know, they're lonesome and they're wholesome. The potential for bad, I think, exists within all of us. But I think he's understanding that, like, just because the potential for bad exists doesn't mean that they're a bad person. you know? This person taught him so much, about what it is to exist and about himself, you know? It's amazing. Cool. Okay, next song. This is In a Week feat. Karen Cowley. Gorgeous guitar again.
I have never known damn grass.
Ooh, interesting.
These insects that feast on me.
What a cool place to take the harmony.
Our hunger's appeased, becoming slow.
Wow, beautiful.
We lay here for hours.
Gorgeous. This one has a bit more of a folk feeling to it, doesn't it? The other ones so far for me have been more like muddy rock kind of inspired stuff.
They find us in a week with you.
Never known sleep like this.
Wow.
This morning revealed.
Beautiful. Like I love her little vocal flourishes there, and because of the way the harmony like descends there, like to land on that is really unique sounding.
Become the flowers
When the candles show fear.
our taste.
Wow. Being eaten away, your body being eaten away by nature. I love this, like singing the different melodies over one another is a very folk thing, isn't it?
And they'd find us in a week
After the insects have made their claim,
Oh, it's pretty dark, huh?
say
Wow.
with you.
I'd be home with you. Wow. If our bodies were left for a week, what would happen? And actually how he'd be settled and in love, in death. Wow. Shit. Oh my god. That's like so dark. Have they been buried and like left for a week? Like two lovers like buried together? That's what it's giving me. Ooh. Wow. Okay. Cool. Really beautiful. Very much in love. And when I started paying attention to the lyrics, I was like, oh, okay, so this is a love song, but a really beautifully dark one. Okay. Love it. I've never known peace like the damp grass that yields to me. I've never known hunger like these insects that feast on me. So it's like, I'm a dead body in the grass. 1,000 teeth and yours among them. I know our hunger's appeased, our heartbeats becoming slow. We lay here for years or for hours, thrown here or found to feast or to thaw, so long we become the flowers. So it's like two lovers lying down in a field for so long that they just die and become part of nature. It's beautiful. Two corpses we were, two corpses I saw, and they find us in a week when the weather gets hot after the insects have made their claim. I'd be home with you. I've never known sleep like the slumber that creeps to me. I have never known colour like this morning reveals to me. Your hand in my hand, so still and discreet, so long we become the flowers. That's beautiful. Oh my god. Yeah, these people have fallen in love and lying in a field until they die, until they're reclaimed by the land, until their bodies are found a week later. It's like so romantic. Like, who writes a song like that that's like just achingly romantic in that kind of like proper Romeo and Juliet kind of like, I would die for you, I'd be happy and dead with you, you know, that proper melodramatic like young love that's like so all-encompassing. It's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. What a fucking song. Like, it's so unique. I never thought that like a song that would be it's like about decomposition would be quite so beautiful. Amazing. Okay, cool. Love it. Okay, next song. This is Sedated. Oh, I like those drums.
My heart's in atrophy. Anyway, today.
Right. Wow. Nice. There's a kind of power in this song, calling people together. Maybe it's like a kind of feeling something shared, like a shared experience, you know?
To any semblance of touch with the sky.
teeth and gums aligned with the scum of it. Wow. Seems like at the beginning of the album he was like this kind of young guy who was very naive. But throughout these experiences he's starting to find his voice, I think. Like this one feels like much more politically aware in a way.
Adding shadows to the walls of the cave. Poison that never stung, I'm missing of it.
That's such a visceral line, isn't it? He's really good at like writing lyrics that not only like there's so much poetry, but like viscerally dark, disgusting, grimy. He really evokes that kind of feeling throughout his lyricism. It's like pretty amazing. Even if it wasn't in the song context, like the poetry of these lines, woof. Yeah, fab. Yeah, free and young, we can feel none of it. Yeah, really cool. I like the kind of like more like confident, forceful kind of nature in that song. Just a little rush, babe, to feel dizzy, to derail the mind of me. So it's like taking drugs, right? Just a little hush, babe, our vines are busy, but my heart's in atrophy. Any way to distract and sedate, adding shadows to the walls of the cave. You and I nursing on a poison that never stung. Our teeth and lungs aligned with the scum of it. Somewhere for this, death and guns, we are deaf, we are numb, free and young, and we could feel none of it. So there's almost like a kind of like, in order to deal with the world, the politics of the world, the religion of the world, things that feel like they're oppressing us, we as young people we like take drinks and do drugs and drink alcohol and all these things to kind of like sedate ourselves in order to deal with the kind of complexities of the world that we kind of are almost like aren't made for. It's like a coping mechanism and we can kind of feel none of the pain. Yeah, someone for this, the death and guns, we are deaf, we are numb, free and young. There's a real kind of oxymoron thing in the freedom, you know, that he kind of feels as a young person, but actually the oppression, the guns, the death, all this kind of stuff, we're just sedated and avoiding it, you know. It's not freedom. I'm somewhere outside my life, babe. I keep scratching, but somehow I can't get in. So we're slaves to any semblance of touch. Freedom and slavery. Lord, we should quit, but we love it too much. Yeah, amazing. So he's kind of admitting that, like, as much as they're free young people, they're actually slaves to the drink because they're kind of pushed to it. That is like, and that does kind of fill in with that kind of like young people come together kind of vibe. This isn't our fault, you know, and we're all going to go, it's like a shared experience thing. That's what that song really is giving me in all, like, not just the lyrical meaning, but the way that like that chorus like has multiple vocals all coming together. Like it really has that kind of feeling to it, you know. Let's go on to the next one. This is Work Song. Ooh. Very slow, this one. Nicely slow. I love the claps. The real texture in those claps.
I was working on empty, face the burning heat.
Nice melody.
I'm so full of love, I could barely eat.
I'm so full of love, I could barely eat.
My baby, sweet as can be. When my time comes around, cold darker. My body down.
No grave can hold my body down. Wow. Even death can't stop me.
Days on a drunken sin.
Sin again, huh?
Didn't care much how long I lived.
Wow. It's almost like this feeling that this person has saved her. He's out in this like bender of drinking drugs and like she is there, you know, like a savior. It follows on from this idea that he's worshipping her, you know.
My hands and my body done.
Wow, yeah. No judgment.
Still have my baby and my babe would have me.
Yeah.
In the lonely light I was free. Words to me.
Yeah. Heaven and hell, just words to me. Wow.
Hold my body down.
God, the lyrics in this are just so powerful and raw and like really bring together like the theme of the album as well, like the idea of like assessing like his own sins and seeing this person as like a savior, you know. Yeah, really, really good. That's really powerful. I love the lyrics. I do think that like, I felt like the chorus needed a bit extra. Like the melody needed to go further to kind of express what he's feeling. Maybe this song was supposed to sound more settled, but like, I don't know, like I felt like the verses had more like beautiful kind of melody, and then the chorus didn't quite satisfy after that. Does that make sense? But lyrically, like, just the raw passion and love and devotion, and like this idea of like, feels guilt for the things he's done. He feels guilt for, you know, going out on benders and getting drunk and doing drugs and stuff. And then this person comes along who is a savior, who doesn't judge him for any of that. Is just like, she is this character that is replacing God for him. And he's like, if God doesn't forgive me, at least I have her, you know? And he's okay with that. You know, heaven and hell are just words to me. It's like, what place does religion have when I'm just so in love? And it really, that brings together these things that he's been like kind of picking apart up until this point, brings it together so strongly. Don't know why it's called Work Song. Boys Working on Empty. Is that the kind of way to face the burning heat? I just think about, oh, hell, right? I just think about my baby. I'm so full of life, I could barely eat. It's like so young and passionate, this romance, you know. There's nothing sweeter than my baby. I never want once from the cherry tree, because my baby's sweet as can be. She gives me toothaches just from kissing me. So it's like continuing this idea that he's so in love that he can't eat. He gets all the sweetness he needs from her, you know, all the food he needs. No grave can hold my body down. I'll crawl home to her. That's when my baby found me. I was 3 days on a drunken sin. I woke with her walls around me, nothing in her room but an empty crib. See, it's almost like he was like going cold turkey from drugs or something. Yeah, and it's almost like a fever dream. Like, he explains it like a fever dream, you know. But he talks about like dying, and like there's a lot of references to dying, like lay my body in the ground when my time comes. You know, I'll crawl home to her, like dig myself out of my grave to be with her, type thing. When I was kissing on my baby, she put her love down, soft and sweet. In the low lamplight, I was free. Gorgeous. Heaven and hell were words to me. It's like not even fearing death anymore, you know? So it's like the huge passion of being so in love that you don't even fear death anymore because you've had this, you know? It's just amazing. He doesn't fear sin anymore. He doesn't feel guilty anymore. It's because this person has like forgiven him, you know? And it's like, he doesn't need the forgiveness of God if he has the forgiveness of her. It's just like so incredible how this whole album has like threaded these ideas of religion and sin throughout every single thing. It's just like one complete piece. It's really amazing. Next song, this is Like Real People Do. Nice.
I had a thought, dear, however scary.
Really lovely to hear him singing in a light way, you know.
It's pulled me from the earth.
Wow. More about being pulled from the earth, being pulled out of the ground like he was dead before you met her, being resurrected. There's so many levels and so many links to Christianity.
We should just get
His brain is operating on another plane when he's writing this. Oh, gorgeous. Oh. Oh, wow.
I knew that
Gorgeous. Oh my God.
someone that died long ago. In some sad way I already know. So I like real people do.
We should just kiss like real people do. Oh my God. Fuck. Beautiful. Oh my God. Just like, it's just so, oh.
Not ask you where you came from. Neither could you. Honey, just put your my lips. Real people do.
It's so beautiful. My God. It's gorgeous. Ugh. Oh my God, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Just so, like, really was leaning into the folk side of things. It's kind of a simple song, but just so elegantly beautiful. Like, it had like such kind of strong bass in the kind of harmony. It had like a real kind of like beautiful ebb and flow to it. That when those vocals, those star vocals that just like peak over the top of the music, it just was astonishingly wonderful and just continued this beautiful flow of melody. Oh my God, it was just so good. I loved that. Oh my God. I had a thought, dear, however scary, about that night, the bugs in the dirt. Why were you digging? What did you bury before these hands pulled me from the earth? more references to the being pulled from the earth. And actually, let's think about the third album, the way in which is Unreal Unearthed. You know, all those references to being under the ground as well. It seems to be a really key thing for him, you know. And the bloody album art for Unreal Unearthed as well. It's like she's resurrected him as a godlike character, right? He was dead under the ground and she pulled him out of the ground. But at this point, he's like, what were you doing in the ground in the first place? I want to ask you where you came from. I want to ask, and neither should you. Honey, just put your sweet lips on my lips. We should just kiss like real people do. Almost this like idea that both these people are actually not real. Like maybe they're like reanimated corpses. We're going there. We're going there again. I knew that look, dear eyes, always seeking, was there in someone that dug long ago. So I will not ask you why you were creeping. In some sad way I already know. So I will not ask where you came from. I will not ask, and neither would you. Maybe he's kind of saying that like you were the same as me, and maybe that's the reason you had the compassion to pull me out of that hole. I'm thinking that he was maybe in like a bit of a drug and drink addled state. She pulled him out like in the previous song. That's what he sees himself as, being dead under the ground and being pulled out. And he's like, how did you know to pull me out of there? And by the sounds of it, he seems to think that she had the same history. Maybe she had a problem with drugs and drink as well. And that's the reason she has this compassion, and that's the reason she's pulled him out and saved him. Oh my God! Oh, fuck! I love that. It's just gorgeous. And this whole album about being like somebody saving him is just like so powerful, and how he's like aligned that with his relationship to religion, her replacing God. It's just amazing. Fucking hell. Okay. Next song, this is It Will Come Back. Oh my God, that guitar, wow. Wow. This album is certainly rough around the edges, isn't it?
No better, babe. Look at it like that.
It's interesting that like his song structure takes much more of a kind of like a ballady kind of tempo and like a more folk kind of poetry, but its kind of sonic influences seem quite rocky.
Leave it to
That guitar.
Don't let it in with no intention to keep it. Jesus Christ,
Jesus.
you come back.
Don't feed it, it will come back.
You know, smile at me like that. You know better, babe. When I'm alone, something
Cool.
how easy you are to need.
You should never know how easy you are to need.
Honey, don't feel.
Oh, okay. So he's like the animal, the wild animal that she's feeding. Maybe this is after she's left and he's like, don't see me. Don't give me hope, because I will come back just like an animal.
Can't be unlearned. The doorway.
That sounded like the door creaking.
It's a kindness you can't afford. You'll hear me howling out.
My God. Yeah. So he's the wolf or the fox or this animal.
Howling, babe.
Wow. It's got dark.
Don't you hear me?
It's kind of a werewolfy feeling to this as well. Like the sonic thing is giving me like, it's giving me like that kind of horror movie thing. Wow, amazing, so powerful, so dark, so visceral, like all these things. The moments where he chooses to go really dark and cinematic are so exciting, because it's like so much of it's so romantic, so for it to kind of like really get dirty with it and really grimy and really dark is like, yeah, it's cool. You know better, babe, than to look at it like that. Don't give it a hand, don't offer it a soul. So he's talking about this animal, which ends up being him. Don't let it in with no intention to keep it. Jesus Christ, don't be kind to it. Honey, don't feed it, it will come back. And then it switches. You know better, babe, than to smile at me like that. You know better, babe, than to hold me just like that. It's like, we've broken up and you're still like hooking up with me. Like, I can't have both. I need to be set free. I've known the warmth of your doorways. Through the cold, I'll find my way back to you. Oh, please give me mercy no more. I want you, baby, each night. As sure as you're born, you'll hear me howling outside your door. Don't you hear me howling? So it's like he links himself together with the animal at the end there. So cool, because it's like, the beginning, it's like he's talking about an animal, and then the second section, he's kind of like talking about himself, and then him and the animal kind of merge in that final bit. It's like, so well written. Yeah, amazing. Let's go on to the penultimate song. This is Foreigner's God. Like the pace of this already.
She moved with shameless wonder when the land was godless and free. My heart is heavy, the hate of some other man's beliefs. Always
Her heart is heavy with the hate of another man's beliefs.
spare the rod,
Wow.
screaming the name of a foreigner's God.
Yeah.
Foreigner's God.
Is it about like putting yourself in someone else's shoes?
Purest expression of grief.
Like, purest expression of grief.
She feels no control of her body, breaking if I try to convey it. The broken love I make to her. Every word I've got is foreign to me.
I think it seems to be that like he's connected with somebody who is like, obviously like they have a different religion to him, and he feels the kind of like connection and the relation in the way that he relates to his own religion. And like, it's kind of seeing that in any religion, grief is that pure, you know, that kind of like that outpouring of grief is just pure emotion, you know. And maybe like in a way, if you were to connect to like somebody else's religion like that, like you can see your own grief in a really pure way. I think that's what he's kind of, maybe what he's saying with that.
Purest expression of grief.
Cool. Yeah. There's something very, very like profound about like looking at religion with like a microscope. You know, it's like, why does these things exist? Why do they exist in all cultures in different ways? It's trying to understand the way in which humans have to cope with these huge kind of emotions, you know. It's something that he's been kind of dealing with the whole album, right? But now it's like the context is kind of coming together. And do you know what I mean? She moved with shameless wonder, the perfect creature rarely seen, since some liar brought the thunder when the land was godless and free. So this is somebody who is linked to their emotion in a pure way that isn't kind of messed around with in terms of like religion. Her eyes look sharp and steady into the empty parts of me, but still my heart is heavy with the hate of some other man's beliefs. She's pure. She's not messed up by the weight of somebody else's beliefs that have been put on you as a child, you know. He's screaming the name of a foreigner's God, the purest expression of grief. I've no language left to say it, but all I do is quake to her, breaking if I try to convey it, the broken love I make to her. All that I've been taught and every word I've got is foreign to me. Yeah, okay, so it's almost like after this, like, you know, he's kind of going out and being sinful and kind of like experiencing young life in a way that's free from his religion. He's now kind of in a place where he's coming to terms with the fact that he can't be a new person. He still is that person, you know, and he's still affected by or everything he was taught. All these things that were pushed on him as a child are still burrowed deep within his brain. But like now it all seems foreign. It's like he has to like pass through all of those feelings again in order to find himself again. And like maybe at this point he's grieving the loss of innocence. Like maybe if he just stayed within that, he wouldn't have to deal with these complex feelings. And maybe in order to do that, he's almost like kind of seeing this other person's religion. Maybe they chose their religion and he's kind of using, almost like trying that religion on as a way of kind of trying to reinvent himself, you know. And in that he's finding a very pure form of grief because it's connected to truly the reason why he needs to grieve rather than the way he's been taught to do it. Does that make sense? Really like just pulling apart like these things in just such a kind of like thoughtful way, such a poetic way. So to be like writing this when he was 22, 23, like how like mature do you have to be able to like actually write something like this when you're that age? That is actually bonkers to me. Yeah, he's like wise beyond his years. Before we go into the final song, if you've made it fit this far in the video and you haven't yet subscribed, then you must do that right now. Because obviously you've loved the video if you've watched all the way this far. And check out all my other videos. Like, I do a new reaction every single Friday. If you want to check out what I'm doing over on my music, head on over to my music channel. And if you want to support me even further as a creator, then you can do on Patreon. And this is a quick shout out to my patrons. So these guys already support me over on Patreon in all the different tiers. They get their videos early, they get them unedited, and even in the upper tiers, you can actually pick specific songs, artists, or albums for me to discover, and I will react to them for you. Those videos that are chosen in those upper tiers go out for everybody on Patreon. So actually, like on a monthly basis, there's usually at least 3 or 4 exclusive videos to Patreon, as well as getting all the YouTube stuff unedited. So it's well worth it if you want to get involved, if you want to support me. Links in the description. Cool. Okay, right, let's go on to this last song. This has been fucking amazing. This is Cherry Wine Live. Nice. Gorgeous guitar.
But she burns like rum on a fire.
Gorgeous.
But it's clean, fuss over me. The way she tells me, open hand or closed fist, so it'd be fine. It's cherry wine. While she stains the sheets of some other with the arm of her brother.
It's like a real family sense to this.
He's not around most of the time.
Right.
She's close to fist, so it'd be fine.
I love the melody of this. And God, he just sounds perfect, doesn't he? Like, this isn't really that far away from the level of recording in the whole rest of the album, is it? Like, nice.
Fiery, oh, but she loves like sleeping.
I just love the melody. I love his use of melody. He really feels it. He feels it out, you know.
I have this some of the time. Sweet as cherry wine.
Her blood is red as sweet as cherry wine. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Really just wonderful. Like, that one really goes to show like his ability in terms of like as a musician, as a singer, like as a live performer. It's just like stunning. So beautiful and romantic and just so lyrical and lilting, and like he just totally just feels it. It's like so intrinsic. You can tell that it's like in his nature, you know. Ugh, wonderful. Her eyes are words and words are so icy. Oh, but she burns like rum on a fire. It looks ugly, but it's clean. Oh, mama, don't fuss over me. The way she tells me I'm hers and she's mine. Open my hand or closed fist will be fine. The blood is rare and sweet as cherry wine. So he's really admitting, like, for other people looking in, it doesn't look like a healthy relationship. But, like, he's kind of fine with it, you know. He's just like, I love this person. Coals of guilty thrown at me all while she stains the sheets of some other. Thrown at me so powerfully. Just like she throws with the arm of her brother. Sounds like he really can't get over her, even though he's out like going around sleeping with other people and stuff, and everyone's just like, you really need to get over her, she's not good for you. And he's like, I don't care, you know. Her fight and fury is fiery, oh, but she loves. Like steep to the freezing, sweet and right and merciful. I'm all but washed in the tide of her breathing. And it's worth it, it's divine. I have this some of the time, the way she throws me. The way she shows me I'm hers and she's mine. The blood is rare and sweet like cherry wine. Beautiful story of like love, heartbreak, sadness, and it kind of like comes together in that final moment in a really simple way, which I think is really nice. Like, as much as like the album has like so much kind of complexity to it, when it just comes down to it, it's like as simple as this, you know. That's what that song feels like for me. And it's beautiful that they capture a live version of it, because I think it probably does capture something that's very him. So yeah, overall, like, beautiful. I just think that the complexity of that album and the way that the different themes throughout like weave into one another. This idea of being under the ground, being dead, raised from the dead as well, like this idea of resurrection. He's been saved. Even like the song that's about the two lovers intertwined in the grass until they die, like it's all to do with the ground and this idea of resurrection, and how that then links to religion. Like the idea of resurrection is such a key part of like the stories of Christianity, and like him being pulled out of the ground and resurrected, she's like this godlike figure. The reason that he found himself as sinful was because he was going out and drinking and doing drugs and stuff, and that was how he found himself dead under the ground, and then she pulled him up and resurrected. It's like all these different things that link together, and the way that like threads itself into the Christian narrative, which he then expresses even further with songs like The Foreigner's God and stuff, where it's like really assessing his relationship to religion, and it all just like feeds together in this way that is like so difficult to even ponder and keep within your own brain, but obviously he has done that, and it's like, it's so clearly so intelligent. I must say, some of the songs do feel underdeveloped for me, I think, in terms of songcraft. Some of the melodies and stuff really came together in a beautiful way. Some choruses didn't have enough for me. Like that kind of thing, you know. Obviously, like I come from a more like producing background. Like I learned to produce songs before I learned to write songs. So I am very much opposite kind of to HOZIER personally. And so like, for me, it feels like very rough and ready in terms of like the sound of it, you know. But I do think that like, the development of that side of things and the songcraft and stuff does mean that like Unreal on Earth is the better album for me. It just all comes together. So far I've only heard those two albums, but in terms of the poetry, the lyricism, and the kind of like the concept and stuff, it just like works. Like the level is like virtuosic, you know, something that is clearly innate to him, and it's astonishing to hear it, and I just think it's so moving. But yeah, amazing. And amazing to hear like someone's first project when they're like 24, and to have so much depth is just like incredible. My favourite song on the album is Like Real People Do. Like that one really all came together so beautifully. It was simple, and like, I don't know, it was the magic of it all came together. I really liked In a Week as well. Yeah, I mean, there were a number of brilliant songs in there. I'll be doing my top 5 on Instagram and in a YouTube short at some point, I'm sure. That one for me was just the most moving thing, and like that melody in the chorus was just the absolute star of the show. Like the best moment of the whole album is when he sings E over the top. As much as there's so many complicated lyrics, my like favourite bit is the bit where he just goes E. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait. I will be doing Wasteland Baby, his second album, but there's so many new albums coming out at the moment, so I'll figure out when I'll do it, but I'll let you know when that's done, and it will be up on Patreon first, unedited as always. Make sure to let me know what your top 5 songs from the album are in the comments. I love reading all of your comments, and I love reading what other people's kind of top 5 songs were, because they're often very different from mine. So I'm excited to read your comments and stuff. If you want to check out my reaction to Unreal on Earth, it's here. And if you want to check out the video where I discover country music, then you can check that out here.